Okay, guys. Today we'll be looking at functions and many things about functions. But before that, I would just like explain this code I have here to get us started with. Now, as a C++ beginner, you need to know that you need to know the basic syntax of C++. Now, this thing you see here, hash include or hash include IOStream as you call it, is a header file. Is a header file that allows us to use certain C++ to access certain things in our system. Like this IO stream is an input and output string. Without this input and output string, anything that relates to input and output will just not work for us. So you have to include your header file at the very right top before you start writing your code. Though C++ is an object-oriented language, but it doesn't work that way. So you make your various necessary declarations at the top, then you write your code below. It's just like saying a, then come below and write int a. No, though the code actually runs object by object, but actually the real thing is that the code runs line by line. That's the truth. But it's so fast that we would think it runs object by object. It will just skip, and when it gets to the very one it's looking for, it will just run that one. That's what happens actually. Now let's try it. Let's say now this namespace, using namespace standard, allows this cout to work. So if we should just come here and write our cout, sorry about that, you can see it runs. There's a line running. Okay, if we just write a cout, then write whatever I want to write, then terminate it, you can see the line is still here. The red line is still here, showing that this thing here doesn't have anything. It's not a C++ word. Okay, it's just showing that it's not a C++ word. It's not actually saying that it's not a C++ word, but because we made a mistake not including this in, or taking this in at the very right top, and the IO stream doesn't cover it up. Okay, that's it for the IO stream. Now, hash include cmat is a kind of a header file for mathematics. If you want to use some things like if you want to use certain things like sine, cosine, okay, sorry, cosine, which is spelled as cos, tan, and that. So you just need a cmat. But if it's just a simple math like 1 plus or division, you don't actually need a cmat. But I just have to include it to make the explanation broader. Okay, here we have our namespace standard. Every C++ has different namespaces to do certain things and different things. There are namespaces that contain that are used for tests. That's when you get to graphics, you learn to use different other namespace. But for now, the only namespace we need um, that often is the standard namespace. The standard namespace allows us to use the standard keywords like int, like cout, not actually int, because if I should just come here and comment this out, you see the cout will not will be marked with a red, showing that this is not a key word or a namespace, is not contained in the namespace, or there is no namespace included for it. Okay, now let's go to our functions. Functions are things that allows us or the functions are things that allows us to make various definitions or whatever within them, and when we run the function, what runs is actually those things we have inputted in them. It's like calling a school, and okay, let me just get a brief explanation for it. Okay, let's say functions are things that are defined or produced to do some other things. Like a car is produced to drive us. So if I should define this function into you and tell you to have a length of 3, and which is an integer, and result, and I say the result of u should be equals length times 2, and say cout, let the u in it, let it cout means print this on the screen for me. Okay, this slash t here is actually going to give it a tab when you run it. It's not going to start from the very extreme. you're going to have a tab or a kind of a space before it starts. Okay, it goes like answer, the answer is whatever, and see out result, and close it. Now you can see when we run this, or when we call this function here in void main, which is the main function. Every C++ has or one very main function, and that is the main. You can use the return type to be something else. I will tell you about return types. Okay, when we call this function in the main function, it doesn't display void u. What actually runs is this bunch of code inside here. So when we call this function, it executes whatever is contained within the block of code, and that is how it goes. Okay, I hope you understand it. Now this void here is a return type. Now when we run this code, or if this thing is not a void, we want to make a return here. So let's say I change this to int. Now if I change this to int, if I should run this code, it will generate an error. It will definitely generate an error because I use an int here. I must make a return which is 0 or something. So I must make a return which is an integer. So if I should just come here and run this, it will definitely generate an error for me, except I have to run this. Okay, if I build it, let's build and see. Let's build it. Okay, still debugging. Okay, you see there's an error generated, and that. So you just make your return type here. You return something. If you don't want to return anything, just return 0 for it. Return 0, and that is it. So when you run the code, now the code is now fixed, and you can run it properly and get whatever you want to get. Let's say this. Now let's wait for it to compile and run. You can see build successfully, hello world. The answer is 6. Press any key to execute. So if I hit any key, it will come back to my my code environment where I can just write my code. So that is just the simple part of coding and functions. So you can do different functions, and you have a function call in the main, and there are many things you just can do with the function. Okay, and let's say next code I'll be teaching you how to make allow users to give in inputs into the screen. Let's say you want to allow a user to input something, and whatever the user inputs, you just execute it, or let's say you multiply it by something and print out something. It's very simple to do, or you just need to use the keyword cin followed by this angular bracket pointing to the right. You call whatever integer I want to call. Let's a, then you close it, then you hit you go like let's say, okay, you have to declare a here first, so you say int a. So you just go like let's say 8 times whatever you want to do, 8 times, let's say a multiply by the result. Okay, let's say a multiply by the result, terminate it, and you can just come here, copy this, or just copy. Okay, let's copy this, come here, okay, please let's go like okay, what number do you want to multiply? Sorry about that. What number do you want to multiply? Then you just go like e, and if I should run this, it will generate an error because I've returned 0 here. So I'll just copy this this here and come here and put it here. Then I'll just go ahead and delete this. You can delete this by hitting okay, you can go like Control X, or you just like use your delete whatever to do it. And let's view this and see. build this, and let's wait for it to run for us. Okay, it's built successfully, so I'll just run this. Okay, hello world, the answer is 6. What number do you want to multiply? Let's say I want to multiply like 5. So just, it didn't run because I did not see out the result of the multiplication. So I'll just go like see out um okay, let's say see out 8 times result, or let's just name 8 times result to be something else. Let's say b something here. So we can just come here and say make declare b, then come here and say b is equals, say b equals whatever equals this. So we just come here and see out b for us, then we'll close that line and terminate this with a semicolon. Every statement in C++ is terminated with a semicolon. So we just see out that, and let's run it again and see. Let's build it first. Let's rebuild it, and if you build successfully, we'll just run it for us and see. Okay, let's run it. Now you can see what number do you want to multiply. Let's say 5, and when you hit enter, it will just multiply it and execute. You see that the screen did not wait for us to do whatever I want to do, it just cancelled. So let's just start with that debugging. That makes it to stay longer. So you can just say 6 and hit enter. You say the multiplication is you just multiply state 6 and say press any key to execute. So I'll just hit S6, and there's a way you can just give a space. You can just come here, give a space, or go out saying see out, then you give a white space like see out, then you just give a white space, then you go like new line, then you just go like new, sorry about that, is it actually a slash for a new line. Okay, sorry. So, okay, that's just it for this, and you have to terminate every statement with semicolon, or the compiler will assume this thing is attached to this, and which is not a keyword, and that's just it. So when we terminate that, and if we should run that, start without debugging, so go like this on the screen, you can see what you want to multiply. You can go like 65, you hit enter, you see the answer here, then you can just hit any key and it will terminate. Okay, that's just it for this very simple video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be making a more advanced video on C++ based on how you can manipulate many things, and I will also be making videos on Windows Home, how to write calculators, make timer, stop, countdown, and different things, browsers and others. So just always stay tuned to this channel and subscribe for more stuff. That's bye for now.